Yo guys, starisfilth is back here again. The production quality of the content is going down a little bit, but that's okay. Coaching is still available. You guys can get coaching right now. Go click the link in the description, guys. Go get some coaching right now, guys. Come on, guys. Thanks, guys.
So in a 6v6, right,
Mhm.
you have the most amount of people on your team alive, right? So
Yep.
if it were to go down, like if you decided, okay, I'm going to go flank, right? If you decided you're going to go flank, right?
It's a 5v6.
That would mean it's essentially a 5v6, right? Like, okay, so this is going to be 5 people supporting each other versus 6. This will last longer than, say, a 5v4. Do you understand why?
Yeah,
Why?
because the more people supporting each other, the more they'll live. So
Exactly,
if it's
right?
like a
Yeah,
7v6, it'll live longer.
yeah, exactly, right? So the idea is that do you think flanking in a 5v4 is a better idea? Because what
Probably.
happens when you flank at a 5v4? This
It's an even fight.
5v4. Oh, well, wait, hold on. I'm saying you're the 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like when you're at a disadvantage, do you think you should be like going for more? To like try to turn the
Uh,
fight around and turn this to a 4?
yeah,
Why?
because then it's an even fight.
But what happens when you leave? Let's say you look like it's like this is a 5v4, right? You start off at a 5v4 and you decide to leave, right?
hmm
During that time, what is the fight?
It becomes a 5v3.
Yeah, there we go, right? That's the thing, right? So, is it necessarily valuable to go on a flank the more and more that you start losing teammates?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? Because the more that you do that, like especially with the amount of time it takes for you to make these flanks, it's not going to work out.
I'm like, yeah, she's fine. Wonder when she'll be mine.
So, you haven't actually played too bad here, right?
hmm
Honestly, when you were, I think it was here, right? You can notice that it's like you go down one, and what happens? You're still playing pretty passive, right? You're just like looking for opportunities, and what happens in a 5v6, right? Generally, you're gonna have that one feeder, Forrest Gump, right? Who decides, okay, I'm gonna come out, and he's the one that's gonna like just he gets a little bit too carried away. That's the opportunity that you're looking for in like when you're at the 5 versus the 6. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. In this case, you're just trying to rebuild, like get yourself back up to pace, and then from there, you're gonna build up your ultimate, and then you can take advantage after that, right? So you're just being very opportunistic here. You're not really going for any flanks. You're just playing safe, right? You're looking for the opportunity, and then you get a hook off like around here, like that, right? And then this is your catalyst to say, okay, 5v5, can I go for something aggressive here?
Yeah.
You could, right? That is a play that you can make, right? So yeah, you're in the 6v5 here. You end up getting the pick, and now it's a 5v5. You heal back up, and then this is where you could explore going through here, right? What is the
hmm
risk though?
I get Discord and then 5 stuns and
Yeah,
die.
right. Yeah, right. And the idea is that it's no longer a 6v6; it's a 5v5, right? So that's only 4 people to support you. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? So maybe instead of going on a flank, right? Or instead of going really hard, like on like an angle, you go for a soft angle. Like something like around here again. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? So it's like you like as the game gets smaller and smaller, like as the game gets smaller and smaller, you're clinging on to what you have harder. You see what I mean?
hmm
You are not fast enough. You are not brave enough. You are out of luck. Now it's time for you to die very rough.
Now, let's see how you're doing on defending here. So where are we right now?
I'm on high ground.
What's the status of the game?
They have 15, we just got point.
What can you do?
Um, Probably just play with my team, look for a hook in.
You could, right? But how do you win? Like how do you win harder, like ahead of time, right? Because think of it, right? What is your goal now that you're defending the objective?
To keep it.
Yeah, you're trying to keep it for as long as possible, right?
Yeah.
So you want to waste their time, right? And if you notice, it gets disjointed, right? So you see you have like a group here, a group here, a group here. So what do you think I'm alluding to? What do you think I'm trying to tell you?
Blank.
Yeah. Why?
Because I can look for a pick and then it'll just stagger and I can.
Yeah. And the
It'll.
thing is
they'll
that
have to wait.
you don't have to like flank. You don't have to be like over here on some James Bond 007 mission over here, like back here. You can. That's something, but it's like you just have to kind of weigh out the risk versus the reward. You can literally just sit like right here. Cause it's just weird.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell sits there? Because it's like this is what you're looking for.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? You want to explore something like around here. You see what I mean? Because it's like
Yeah.
you do your vape and then you're able to like get back around here. Maybe you can go through here if like you see that there's nobody through here and you have no risk really. You can like play around this corner here. Something. You could literally just sit like right here. This is perfectly safe, perfectly fine. It's just a different angle to challenge, right? And then from there, that's where you get your opportunity, and that's how you start carrying, right? Because you get that kill, and then what? Boom! Now you're getting more ult, and more ult, and more ult.
Yo guys, starisfilth here. If you guys want to get a coaching session of your own, be sure to click the link in the description.
Okay, you're playing with your team now. Building ult, that's fine. And there you go, this is perfectly fine, right? Why? Okay, so you're in the 6v6 here, right? You're going into the 6v6. Why didn't you go for a flank?
I was kind of scared of Zen just orbiting me and I just died everything.
Right? And what is like, again, you want to be thinking like, what is the easiest way I can win this? What is the thing that you're very close to right now? Ult, right? So you play for ult instead. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like that's where it's like you kind of differentiate where it's like, okay, now in this 6v6, right? Like at the beginning of this fight or whatever, whether or not you're defending or they're defending, whatever. If you decide that it's like, okay, I have X ult, I have Y and Z ult, and I know that they only have Y, right? You play for ult. Like you don't really need to go flank like super hard, right? But it's like if you know that they have Y, X, A, B, fucking what is it, Sigma? I don't even know how you fucking do the
Plus.
Sigma letter, whatever. But you know
Sigma.
what I mean? Like they have like a bunch of ultimates, right? Then it's like, okay, can you see the value of you going for something like cheeky?
Yeah.
Right? It's precisely because of the fact that if you don't, you'll lose. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's your kind of like, this is what you're kind of trying to weigh out at the moment, right? And in this situation, what are the circumstances? They're close to finishing.
We're up in ults.
Yeah, you're up in ults, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 coming soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
They used quite a bit of ults last fight to try to get to you. So what do? You just play for ult. Yeah, exactly.
These great scars on the face of the earth appear to be lifeless.
So let's see what you do next. What happened?
I get a pick, and now they have to wait for a hog.
Yeah, were you sitting like back here poking?
No.
No, you actually set the precedent. You said, "Look, you stay up here. I'm gonna hook you," and you went for it.
Mm-hmm.
You even did that whole turnaround tech shit, and you killed him. And I'm just gonna get out, and now you're gonna dominate for a lot longer. Okay, so there's like another 20 minutes of footage here, and for the sake of brevity, I'm just gonna go just commentate over this because we've gone a couple tangents, and I just want to keep this video focused on flanking. So, anyways, okay, so the situation here is that we ended up getting a elim on their Roadhog as they're retreating. Our Hanzo did too. Great. Now we're at a 4v6. you have your hook offline, I believe it was, and I'm sorry that the replay code isn't available, so I'm not able to go back in here and do this properly, but whatever. Your hook was on cooldown, but you have your take a breather available. So what do we do? The idea is that, again, we're at the 6v4, right? You are at an advantage. You want to continually press this advantage, but the thing is that you don't want to feed, because if we think back at the beginning of the video, we're talking about how when you're at a disadvantage, right, so 5v6, you don't necessarily want to go flank, because when you flank, it means you're leaving your team, and the 4 people remaining while you're going off on a flank are going to have even more pressure to deal with because they're facing 6 people, right? So you just want to stabilize, and then you want to punish people who overextend. So you want to punish the 6 for overextending. In this situation, you're at the advantage. So you don't want to be the overextender, right? So you don't want to go for a flank here or for a flank here, because it ends up just being a situation where you isolate yourself and there's 4 people here. So it becomes a 4v1 effectively, right? So the idea is all you need to do is just play safe. Play safe and go for the easiest hooks possible. Win the game the easiest you possibly can. Just sit right here, right? You have cover. You have your teammates right behind you. Your supports are right here to follow up on whatever you do. They'll be able to heal you. Your diva's right here as well. You're going to have a nice cross angle. And all you're going to do is just land the easy hooks. This diva is going to peek, right? You can hook her, and then your teammates are going to shoot. Diva's going to shoot. She gets demeched. Lucio, you hook him, whatever, right? Bang. People are going to follow up on that. Moira, same thing. Cassidy, same thing. This is where Roadhog thrives. The point is that you need to capitalize on the fact that you have an advantage, because what happens is that the more people are gone from the enemy teams means the less abilities that are going to be available to negate the value of your hooks. If you sit back here forever and you just wait for them to regroup and then walk forward onto the point, right? And then you have a nice fair 6v6 on point. What ends up happening is that you're putting yourself into a ton of pressure, because it's like, one, your hook has to land at this point. Because if it doesn't, then you're without your hook for like 6 seconds and you're not doing something. You're not doing anything, really, other than poking. But then, also, you've given them a bunch of ground, and it's like, they also have the numbers to be able to support whoever it is that did get hooked. So you're not guaranteeing that value. This is where the value is guaranteed. This is where you continually stagger, you waste their time, and you build a ton of ults. This is where Roadhog carries. Let me ask you something, just for the sake of like variety here, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about like, how would this work like on not a control map, right? So let's say like a payload. Can you see how this would maybe work the same way?
Yeah.
How so?
Like if we're on attack, I get a pick on like an off angle, and they have to regroup or they have to push with 5.
Yeah, right. So what happens when you win an attack on like a payload map? You have one person sitting on cart, and then what does the rest of the people do?
5 people push up.
They move forward, right? And they take ground, right? Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Look for an off angle.
Exactly, right? This is where you look for an angle, because people will walk out of spawn. They will try to gain ground like gradually. So it's like those are the things that you can capitalize on, right? It's the same thing with 2CP. Okay, so like Volskaya, right? So you have like the point here, right? And you have the choke that's like here. And then there's like that weird like wall that's here. And then there's like this pathway over here, and then there's like the
high ground.
The building. Yeah, exactly. The building on the high ground over here. It's like this is where it's like, okay, you end up clearing the fight on defense, you're clearing the fight. Your teammates maybe want to like sit around here. What is stopping you from going like up over here or like up here? Because
Not
it's
really
like
anything.
nothing, right? Because it's like you go over here, you find the pick, great. you got a pick, right? But
Yeah.
then if we're thinking about like the 6v6, right? It's like you're trying to like get an advantage, right? But again, you're trying to get people like to stagger them. But then it's like if you had ultimates, right? If maybe you feel like you had an ultimate and it's like, okay, I can just hook somebody and just ult them and just get an instant kill. Even if I die, it doesn't matter. It's just wasting their time because they're not going to be able to push in a 5v6 or even like a 5v5 into this because I'll be back before them. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can explore a bit here, but the key thing is this, and then the state of the fight in terms of ultimates. That's what's going to dictate whether or not you flank and how aggressively you do so.